Not again. Why is it always 3 a.m.? Not 1 a.m.? Not 5 a.m.? Always 3:00 something. If you wear a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor, you've probably had this happen. You go to bed, your blood sugars are beautiful, they're flat, and then at 3 a.m., that alarm goes off. Sometimes you're high, sometimes you're low, and sometimes your CGM is just a little confused. But why that time? Is it our CGMs or our bodies? Or are we all just cursed by the diabetes gods of sleep deprivation? And will it actually stop alarming if we yell at it? Yes, shush, I hear ya. Let's find out what's really happening while we sleep. Between 2 and 4 a.m., your body starts preparing to wake up. It's called the dawn phenomenon, and hormones like cortisol, growth hormone, and glucagon tells your liver, hey, let's release some sugar, we got a day to start. It's basically your body trying to be helpful. For people without diabetes, insulin quickly balances that out. But for us, the insulin response might not match, and then our blood sugars will start to climb, and the CGM will pick up on that. And there you go, your 3 a.m. concert starts. It's not your imagination. Your hormones are really messing with your sleep. But sometimes there's a completely different reason why your CGM is yelling at you, and that could be compression lows. So compression lows are when you put pressure on the sensor, for example, by sleeping on it. This cuts out the fluid flow, making the sensor think that your blood sugars are tanking. So once you roll over, you'll usually see that your blood sugars jump back up into range. It's not just because you had a low blood sugar and just passed out. It's just a false low. You just hugged your CGM a little too hard. So it's always good to look at the trend graph as well as the blood sugar number before reacting. And sometimes it's not you, it's the sensor in itself. A CGM measures your blood sugars in the fluid underneath your skin, not in the blood. So readings can lag behind 5 to 10 minutes. If blood sugars are changing really quickly, that can confuse the sensor and you might get false readings. Also, things like heat or temperature fluctuations, sweating, or just the age of the sensor can sometimes lead to false readings. And here's a pro tip. If your CGM allows you to calibrate it, and if you find that your sensor is inaccurate, don't calibrate it when your blood sugars are fluctuating wildly. Only calibrate it when your blood sugars are steady and have been for a little while. That can potentially save you from a lot of 3 a.m. sensor drama. And sometimes the 3 a.m. alarms are not due to hormones or compression lows, it's dinner. Fatty or large late night meals like pizza, burgers, ice cream, or chips, or even something many consider healthier like nuts or avocado, digest slowly. You might go to bed with perfect blood sugars, but by 3 a.m., that slow release of energy finally hits your bloodstream. And if you haven't managed to balance that perfectly with your insulin, your CGM will be picking up on it. So it's not being dramatic, it's just tracking your food hangover. Now, here's the tricky part, because your CGM isn't just reacting to your dinner or late night snack, it's also reacting to your insulin levels and to what your muscles were up to earlier. If you take your basal insulin, so your long-acting insulin, at the wrong time or the wrong dose, or if your insulin pump settings aren't quite right, you risk going low at 3 a.m. So a lot of basal insulin, such as Lantus and Tresiba, actually has a peak. And if you take it too early, that peak and your body's natural glucose dip can overlap. And then on the flip side, not taking enough fast-acting insulin for your meals, not correcting high blood sugars, or dialing back your long-acting insulin dose too much can leave you with high blood sugars overnight. And then we have exercise. If you exercise at night, especially if you do resistance training, your body can continue to pull glucose out of your bloodstream throughout the night, which could make your blood sugars slowly plummet. Okay, just to be completely clear here, resistance training is brilliant. It's such an effective way of increasing your insulin sensitivity, so I'm definitely not telling you to stop doing that. But even a late night walk or a run can really shift your overnight patterns, which is why you might see more of those 3 a.m. alerts on workout days. On days where I do heavier workouts, I'll generally dial back my long-acting insulin in the evening, or I'll go to bed with blood sugar on the higher side, for example, close to 140 rather than 100. But exercise before bed can also be an extremely effective way to manage blood sugars overnight if you take the right precautions. But there are also going to be days where you did everything right, your CGM is actually accurate, and you are going low. So for those situations, you want something that's fast and effective. I have 3 ways that I treat low blood sugars at night that does not require me to get out of bed. No trip to the kitchen needed. I reach for fruit pouches for when I definitely don't want to chew anything. I like Skittles for when I don't want to rebrush my teeth, I just swallow them with water. And then glucose tabs for when I just want to raise my blood sugars super fast. Have you heard about the 15-15 rule? I roughly follow that. So the concept is that when you have a confirmed low blood sugar, you eat 15 grams of carbs, then you wait 15 minutes, you measure your blood sugar again and reassess. If blood sugars are back in range, you're good. If not, you repeat. And here's a bonus tip from my own experience. I generally find that if I go lower in the early morning, around 5 a.m., I don't need as many carbohydrates to treat a low blood sugar, and it might be the same for you. In the morning, our body starts to push glucose into the bloodstream without us eating or drinking anything, and many of us are just more insulin resistant. So that means that if I treat it with 15 grams of carbs, I'll end up with high blood sugars. So take notes. Knowing your patterns can really help you treat lows without overshooting and ending up with high blood sugars instead. So how do we actually stop this 3 a.m. madness? These are the things that I find makes the biggest difference. I think about where I place my CGM. I never place it on the side of my arms. I adjust the alerts to work for me. Then I consider insertion timing. I generally don't insert sensors right before bed. I always keep fast-acting carbohydrates at my bedside. And then I track patterns and I act on them, because less beeping, more sleep, that's my kind of control. And yeah, if your CGM is beeping at 3 a.m., it's not because it hates you. It's trying to be helpful, and it's usually due to one of these 4 things. It can either be your hormones, it could be putting pressure on the sensor, food and insulin timing, or your evening exercise routine. Figure out which one is yours, then work on finding a solution, and you can finally get some quality sleep. So this was a slightly different format than many of my other videos, and I want to do more of these diabetes makes no sense until it does type of videos. So anything you've been wondering, anything you'd like me to cover, or do you think this format is a complete flop? Hopefully it wasn't a flop and you actually enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a like and leave me a comment down below. You can also check out other of my diabetes videos like this one, and while you're at it, why not subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications. That is that little bell. That way you'll be informed whenever I post new content. You'll never miss a thing. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.